They say when you survive something that kills everyone else around you, you're supposed to feel lucky, blessed, chosen. But Tyler Morrison doesn't feel lucky at all. 10 years after that night, he still sees that grinning face every time he closes his eyes. 5 friends went into those woods on Halloween night in 2014. Only one came out. And the thing that hunted them? It wore a smile the entire time. Tyler Morrison was 19 years old in the fall of 2014, a sophomore at Lakewood University in northern Michigan studying computer science. He lived in a cramped dorm with his best friend, Marcus Chen. Marcus was the kind of guy who could light up any room he walked into, always cracking jokes, always making people laugh. The two had been friends since freshman orientation, bonded over their shared love of terrible horror movies and even worse, pizza. Their group of friends was tight-knit. There was Marcus, of course. Then there was Jessica Palmer, a pre-med student with a wicked sense of humor and dreams of becoming a trauma surgeon. She was dating Derek Thompson, a business major and star of the university's soccer team. Derek was the golden boy, handsome, athletic, charismatic. Everyone loved Derek. And then there was Sarah Mitchell, an art major with dyed purple hair and a collection of vintage band t-shirts. Sarah was quiet but fiercely creative, always sketching in her notebook during lectures. And then there was Tyler, the tech nerd, the guy who spent more time debugging code than socializing. But with this group, he felt like he belonged. They were more than friends, they were family. On October 31st, 2014, Halloween night, the group decided to do something stupid. It started as a joke, really. They were sitting in the student union talking about local urban legends, and someone mentioned the old Blackwood Trail. It was an abandoned hiking path about 15 miles outside of town, deep in the forest. According to legend, a group of hikers had disappeared there in the 1970s, never to be seen again. Some people said the woods were cursed. Others claimed there was something living out there, something that didn't want to be found. "We should go," Derek said, grinning. "Come on, it's Halloween. What better night to explore a creepy forest?" Jessica laughed. "You're insane. There's probably nothing out there but mosquitoes and poison ivy." "Exactly," said Derek, "which is why it'll be funny. We'll take some pictures, post them online, and everyone will think we're badasses." Marcus was already sold. "I'm in. Tyler, you bringing your camera?" Tyler hesitated. Something about the idea made him uneasy, a knot forming in his stomach, but he didn't want to be the one to kill the mood. "Yeah, sure, I'll bring it." Sarah was the last to agree, but eventually she nodded. "Fine, but if we die out there, I'm haunting all of you." They packed light, flashlights, snacks, Tyler's camera, and a couple of cheap vodka Marcus had smuggled into the dorm. The plan was simple. Drive out to the trail, hike for an hour or so, take some spooky photos, and be back by midnight. Easy, harmless. What could possibly go wrong? The 5 friends piled into Derek's beat-up SUV and made the drive out to Blackwood Forest. The sun was already setting by the time they arrived, casting long shadows across the dirt parking lot at the trailhead. The forest loomed ahead of them, dark and dense, the trees so tightly packed that barely any light penetrated through. "This place is creepy as hell," Jessica said, staring into the trees. "That's the point," Derek said, slinging his backpack over his shoulder. "Come on, let's do this before it gets too dark." They started down the trail, their flashlights cutting through the gloom. At first, it was almost fun. They joked around, took silly photos, passed the vodka bottle. Sarah found an old, rusted sign half buried in the dirt reading, "Private property, keep out." She posed next to it, flipping the camera. But the deeper they went, the quieter they became. The forest seemed to swallow sound. Their laughter died down. Even Marcus, who never shut up, grew silent. The air felt heavy, oppressive, like something was pressing down on them. "Guys," Sarah said softly, stopping in her tracks. "Do you hear that?" They all froze, listening. At first, no one heard anything, but then, faintly, they caught it, a low humming sound, almost like someone singing. It was distant, barely audible, but it was there. "What the hell is that?" Marcus whispered. "Probably just the wind," Derek said, but his voice lacked conviction. "That's not wind. That's someone singing." The humming grew louder, closer, and then they heard it clearly. A children's song, distorted and eerie, echoing through the trees. "Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies." "Okay, screw this," Marcus said, backing up. "I'm out, let's go back." But before they could turn around, the singing stopped. The forest fell silent again, unnaturally silent. No birds, no insects, nothing. And then they saw it. Standing about 20 feet ahead of them, partially obscured by the trees, was a figure. It was tall, impossibly tall, with elongated limbs that seemed too long for its body. But it was the face that made their blood run cold. It was wearing a mask, a crude hand-painted smiley face, bright yellow with a wide, grotesque grin and hollow black eyes. What is that?" Sarah whispered. The figure didn't move. It just stood there, staring at them with that horrible frozen smile. "Run!" Derek said. "Run!" They bolted. Screams erupted as they crashed through the underbrush, branches tearing at their clothes and skin. Behind them, they could hear it. Footsteps, fast and heavy, closing the distance. "Split up!" Jessica yelled. "It can't follow all of us!" It was a terrible idea, but they were panicking. Marcus and Tyler veered left, Derek and Jessica went right, and Sarah kept running straight. The last thing anyone saw before the trees swallowed her was the look of pure terror on her face. Marcus and Tyler ran until their lungs burned, until they couldn't hear the footsteps anymore. They collapsed behind a fallen log, gasping for air. "What the hell was that thing?" Marcus panted. "I don't know," Tyler said, his hands shaking. "We need to find the others. We need to get out of here." They tried to retrace their steps, but the forest was a maze. Everything looked the same. They called out for Derek, Jessica, Sarah, but no one answered. And then, in the distance, they heard it. A scream, high-pitched and agonized. It lasted only a few seconds before it was cut off abruptly. "Sarah," Marcus whispered, his face pale. They ran toward the sound, but they were too late. They found her lying in a small clearing, her body crumpled and broken. Her eyes were open, staring at nothing. And carved into the tree above her, still wet with sap, was a crude smiley face. Marcus threw up. Tyler just stood there, frozen, unable to process what he was seeing. Sarah was dead. Sarah, who'd been laughing with them just an hour ago, was gone. "We have to keep moving," Tyler said, his voice hollow. "We need to find Derek and Jessica." But Marcus was already backing away, shaking his head. No, I'm not. I can't. Marcus, we can't stay here." A branch snapped behind them. They spun around, and there it was again, the smiley face. Closer this time, close enough that they could see the details. The mask was made of wood, hand-carved, the paint chipping in places. And behind the hollow eyes, they could see movement, something watching them. Marcus ran. He didn't even hesitate, just turned and bolted into the trees. Tyler tried to follow, but his legs felt like lead. The figure moved toward him, not running, just walking with slow, deliberate steps. And then it tilted its head, like it was studying him, and that smile seemed to grow wider. Tyler ran. He ran faster than he ever had in his life, branches slashing at his face, roots trying to trip him. Behind him, he could hear it, that low, distorted humming again, getting closer. Time lost all meaning as he crashed through the forest, but eventually he heard voices, Derek and Jessica. He crashed through a thicket and found them huddled together, both of them bleeding from scratches, both of them terrified. "Tyler!" Jessica cried. "Where's Marcus? Where's Sarah?" "Sarah's dead," Tyler said, the words feeling unreal. "And Marcus, he ran. I don't know where he is." Derek's face went white. "Dead? Sarah's dead?" Before Tyler could answer, they heard it, a scream, Marcus's scream. It echoed through the forest, raw and desperate. And then it stopped, just like Sarah's had. "Oh God," Jessica sobbed. "Oh God, oh God." "We need to move," Derek said, grabbing her hand. "Now." They ran together, the three of them, trying to find a way out. But the forest seemed endless, looping back on itself. They passed the same landmarks over and over, the rusted sign, the fallen log, the clearing where they'd found Sarah's body. It was like the woods were alive, trapping them inside. And then The figure appeared again. This time it was standing directly in their path, blocking the trail. It raised one impossibly long arm and pointed at them. And behind the mask, they heard it laugh. Not a human laugh. Something wrong, something broken. "Go around it," Derek yelled. They tried, but as they moved, the figure moved too, always staying in front of them, herding them deeper into the forest. And then Tyler realized it was playing with them. This wasn't random, it was deliberate. It was hunting them. Derek must have realized it too because he suddenly stopped. "You two keep going," Derek said. "I'll distract it." "Derek, no!" Jessica started, but he was already running toward the figure, yelling, waving his arms. The smiley face turned toward Derek, and then it moved, faster than anything that size should be able to move, and Derek's screams turned into screams. Jessica tried to run toward him, but Tyler grabbed her, pulling her back. "We have to go," Tyler said, tears streaming down his face. "We have to go now." They ran until they found a small cave, barely more than a hollow under a rock formation, and they crawled inside, pressing themselves against the cold stone. They could hear it outside, circling, that humming sound rising and falling like a lullaby from hell. "It's going to kill us," Jessica whispered. "It's going to kill us both." "No," Tyler said, even though he didn't believe it. "No, we're going to survive. We're going to get out of here." They stayed in that cave for hours, or maybe it was minutes. Time didn't exist anymore. Eventually, the humming stopped. The footsteps faded. Silence returned. "I think it's gone," Jessica whispered. "We need to move while we can," Tyler said. "If we can find the trail, we can make it back to the car." They crawled out of the cave, every nerve on edge. The forest was still dark, but there was a faint gray light on the horizon. Dawn was coming. They stumbled through the trees, looking for anything familiar. And then they found the trail, the actual trail, not one of the false loops. They could see the parking lot in the distance, Derek's SUV still sitting there, waiting. "We're going to make it," Jessica said, laughing through her tears. "Tyler, we're going to make it." They started running toward the car. 50 feet, 40, 30. And then Jessica screamed. Tyler spun around and saw it, the smiley face emerging from the trees behind them. It had been waiting, watching, and now it was coming. "Run!" Tyler yelled, but Jessica had frozen, paralyzed by terror. The figure reached her in 3 impossibly long strides. Tyler saw it raise its arm, saw something glinting in its hand, a blade, crude and rusted. Tyler didn't think, he just acted. He grabbed a thick branch from the ground and swung it with everything he had. It connected with the figure's mask with a sickening crack. The smiley face stumbled backward, and for a moment the mask slipped. Tyler saw what was underneath, and he would spend the rest of his life wishing he hadn't. It wasn't human, not anymore. The face beneath the mask was pale and stretched, the skin pulled too tight over the bones. But it was the eyes that would haunt him, black and empty, like staring into a void. Jessica ran. She ran toward the parking lot, and Tyler ran after her. They could hear it behind them, that horrible humming starting again. They reached the SUV. Jessica fumbled with the door, her hands shaking too badly to open it. "Come on! Come on!" Tyler yelled. The door finally opened. They jumped inside, slamming the door shut. Tyler looked in the rearview mirror and saw the smiley face standing at the edge of the parking lot, watching them, just watching. "Keys!" Jessica said. "Where are the keys?" Tyler's heart sank. Derek had the keys. Derek, who was dead somewhere in those woods. "We have to run," Tyler said. "We have to run to the road and flag someone down." They got out of the car and started running down the dirt road that led back to the highway. Behind them, they could hear footsteps. It was following them, still, always. Their legs burned, their lungs screamed, but they kept running. Jessica was beside Tyler, tears streaming down her face, but she kept pace. And then, finally, Tyler saw it. Headlights, a car driving up the road toward them. "Help!" they screamed, waving their arms. "Help us!" The car screeched to a halt. An elderly couple got out, their faces filled with concern. "What's wrong? What happened?" the man asked. "Call 911, Tyler gasped. "Please, call 911. Our friends, they're dead. Something in the woods." The other woman already had her phone out, dialing. The man looked past them, down the dark road. "What's chasing you?" Tyler turned around. The road was empty. The forest was silent. The smiley face was gone. But Tyler knew it was still there, watching, waiting. The police searched Blackwood Forest for 3 days. They found Sarah's body in the clearing, just like Tyler had said. They found Marcus near a stream, his body broken and twisted. They found Derek closer to the trailhead, his face frozen in an expression of terror. But they never found the thing that killed them. They never found the smiley face mask. They never found any evidence of what Tyler and Jessica had seen. The official report said it was a bear attack, a tragic accident. The case was closed. Tyler and Jessica tried to tell them the truth, but no one believed them. How could they? A 7-foot-tall creature wearing a smiley face mask, hunting college students through the woods? It sounded insane. Jessica couldn't handle it. The guilt, the nightmares, the constant fear. 3 months after that night, she took her own life. Tyler was the only one left. 10 years have passed from that Halloween night. Tyler Morrison is 29 years old now. He moved across the country, changed his name, tried to start over, but he can't escape it. Every October, as Halloween approaches, he sees them, smiley faces, painted on walls, drawn on sidewalks, printed on balloons. They're everywhere. And each time he sees one, he wonders if it's watching him, if it's waiting for him to come back. Because sometimes, late at night, he still hears it, that humming, that children's song, distorted and wrong, drifting through his dreams. Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies. And Tyler knows, deep down, that it's not finished with him. It let him live that night, but not out of mercy. It let him live so he could remember, so he could carry the fear with him forever. Tyler Morrison is the sole survivor of what became known as the Blackwood Forest Murders. But survival doesn't feel like victory to him. It feels like a prolonged death, stretched out over years, waiting for the moment when that grinning face finally comes back to finish what it started. They say when you survive something that kills everyone else, you're supposed to feel lucky. But Tyler Morrison doesn't feel lucky at all. He feels like the last one standing in a game he never wanted to play. And somewhere out there, in the darkness, the smiley face is still smiling, still waiting, still hunting.